Morning, everyone. We'll just give a few more minutes for those who are filtering in to get settled before we kick off. But good morning.
You're welcome. We are happy to have this session set up as well.
Morning, Chris.
Right.
Right, so we're a couple of minutes in, so I think we'll start. We'll sort of tentatively get going, and if others join, then we will we'll pick it up on the fly. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. So you'll note that we are recording this session. This is for the benefit of those who perhaps couldn't make it today, but who signed up. So we will be recording this as we go. So just be aware that everything we're doing is recorded. But welcome to the AI Ethics, Regulation and Compliance session. Thank you all for coming, and we're looking forward to getting started. So we'll jump in from here. So just a quick introduction before we get too far in, so we know who's speaking. So my name is Alex Whitehouse. I'm a senior client relationship manager here at the business school, and I'm joined today by Bex Henley. Bex, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I am the campaign manager for online programs. So I sit in the marketing team, and I'm also an alumni. I have completed our Oxford Digital Marketing program, so I can also offer some secret insights into the alumni community and little bits later on.
And Bex will be assisting us with the chat as well as we go. So do feel free to put your questions that you have in the chat, and we'll go through them as we go. And also there'll be a section at the end for Q&A. But so welcome and good morning. So I thought we'd start actually with a quick poll, if you'll forgive us, just to understand your own perception. So why this program and why now? So you'll see a poll popping up on the screen. Please do engage with that. We'd be keen to understand your feelings. Answers are coming in now. So I think that the vast majority of the answers there, I know there's still a few creeping in, it is to understand the AI regulation. A few of you are just looking for more information about the program, as well as perhaps exploring some other executive learning options. So I think we should have a pretty good coverage here for all of that today. So that's good to hear. So I'll close that poll now, and we'll press on from here. So who's the program for? Essentially, is what we wanted to address first and foremost. So as you'll understand, this program is focused around the AI regulation that came into place, the EU Act that came into place August of last year. It's the first major regulation really that we've seen, perhaps reflecting the growing nature of AI and what's coming down the track later on. It's a similar sort of impact to perhaps the GDPR regulations that came in 2016. So this program very much is aimed at people who operate in that space, so CIOs and CTOs, people who operate with policy or deploying or managing AI systems broadly across the piece. To give you an insight into who we had on the first cohort that we ran earlier this year, it was a sort of a pretty 50-50 split actually of men and women. It was a base covering 11 different countries, 5 different regions, and a range of companies and titles, everything from litigation to service partners, policy, even games development was covered in the participants that we had in the first cohort. So quite a broad space there. In terms of what this program is and giving you an insight into what it is, you are looking at 4 weeks of activity. The first week is largely orientation. but then you're looking at 3 fairly intense weeks of modules. What I would say is that that doesn't mean you have to free up a month of your time to do this course. What we generally ask is that it's 7 to 10 hours of work per week, so roughly 30 hours for the 3 modules that we run. It's largely self-paced, it's all online, and it's globally accessible. And at the end of this, you'll be given access to, we'll have a lifetime access to our alumni community, and access to the Oxetica AI governance platform. And just to give you a little insight into what that platform is, because you'll hear us mention that throughout the piece, the AI governance Oxetica platform, it is a custom tool that's been created by our very own director, Matthias Holwig, in collaboration with Oxetica. It's essentially a platform that allows you, essentially a suite of online tools designed to help you adopt and scale AI responsibly. It essentially allows you to do 3 things. So first of all, you'll be able to create your own AI inventory, which will essentially be a list of all the systems that are operating in your organization. Secondly, you can then create a risk for each level. So for each of these systems in your list, you'll be able to assess whether these systems pose a minimal, limited, or high risk, and if they're prohibited practices. And then thirdly, if you're operating or you've identified any high-risk AI within that space, you'll be able to do what we call a conformity assessment. And the platform allows you to do that in a way that would suitably satisfy Article 43 under the AI Act, which is the act that we're referring to today. So in terms of the faculty that we run here, we've got some of the biggest names of the business school, we're happy to say. It's led by Matthias Holwig, who I've mentioned already. He's to the left of your screens. He's our American Standards Company Professor of Operations Management here at the Side Business School. And we also feature a range of faculty from different departments to reflect the interdisciplinary nature of AI ethics, regulation, and compliance. So to pull out a few names there, we've got Michael Schmetz, who's a big name in the Professor of Management, cross-cuts a number of our other programs. And Daniel Amanios, who's the BT Professor of Major Project Management. He's a big figure actually in our Major Projects Leadership Academy that we run with governments and private sectors all over the world. As well as our own faculty, we're pleased to say that we have a range of world experts and guest speakers from across the world. We've listed a few there on the screen. So you'll hear from people at BP, Oxetica, Stepstone, and others. You'll see we've actually got the president of the Association of AI Ethics on the list as well. So we've got some big hitters in that space speaking during those 3 weeks that you'll be with us. We'd like to run another poll now, again, just to understand how familiar you actually are with the EU AI Act as it stands right now. So please do engage with the poll. It's just popping up on your screen. So never heard of it, not so much, somewhere in the middle. Oh, well, one of you is very familiar, so that's an interesting start point. But most of you are in the heard of it, but not so much. So that's good to know. You're in the right place. So we'll close that poll now. It's good interaction. Thank you. So let's take that through into what you will learn. So we'll close the poll. Really, the three intense modules that you'll get into are very much the why, what, and how of AI regulation and compliance. So if I break these down a little bit, the why, the module 1 of ethics and regulations, this is essentially recognizing how and why AI systems fail. So you'll be understanding the powers and risks of AI, the key failure modes such as bias and rights infringements, and you'll also be learning the foundational ethics and practical frameworks for AI governance within Module 1. Module 2, the what is the regulation. This is very much getting into the detail of the Act itself. So what are the abroad, what is the understanding of different AI regulations across jurisdictions, with a focus, of course, on the EU AI Act. So mapping out the global regulatory landscape, including EU, US, APAC, and other areas. Examining the actual Act itself in depth. So what are the risk categories, the transparency aspects of it, data quality and compliance mandates. And indeed, we'll be looking at some real world case studies within that space so we can understand some global convergence trends. Module 3, the how. So this is very much learning how to scope compliance mandates using a structured checklist. So this is going back to the Oxetica platform that we were referring to earlier, applying sort of robustness and fairness metrics and getting hands-on with that conformity tool that we were just referring to. There'll be a range of assessments throughout the 3 weeks of modules. So there's 3 graded quizzes, as you can see here, three graded discussion groups, and a longer written assessment towards the end, made up of questions through the platform. But by the end of that, you'll walk away with a very clear understanding of AI risks, failure, and ethical frameworks, a deep insight into some of the regulation tools that exist already, but also you'll have an understanding of the practical tools that AI systems use to make up compliance. So hopefully some very good outcomes in quite a short space of time there. So sometimes we get asked, what makes this program different? And we've listed a few specific things that we offer on the screen there, from the platform to the online experience, the community at the end of it. But essentially, in a nutshell, we do combine ethics, regulation, and compliance in a single practical program, which is fairly rare in terms of what's out there at the moment. Other courses are either too theoretical or they focus solely on ethics or tech, whereas this program brings all 3 together in a sort of manageable way.
All right, I'll say it is over to me now. I'll give Alex a little break. So on to the Oxford online experience. So for us, we see this as one of the best parts of our programs. So a lot of other courses, there's just an hour of a pre-recorded Zoom and then you're just left on your own for a week. This is not us. Ours is really interactive and really supportive. So every person has a dedicated success advisor. So they will be on hand to help you get through the module, make sure you're hitting all the assignments. If you do run behind for some reason, they will check on you to see what's happening. They'll remind you when deadlines are. So they are there to help you succeed. We've also got tutors. So we have a head tutor as well as a tutor team. So they are there to guide the discussions that are in the forums. We've got an app called Pronto where we can just have discussions. They answer any queries. They do all the assignment reviews. So you get that real top tier support about the actual content. And then when you're in the course itself, it's all interactive. So we do have some videos. We also have audio. Most modules and the units in them have little quizzes you can do. Obviously, some of them are graded, some of them are just to test your knowledge. We have discussions with the academic directors, the tutors. We have the discussion forums. So we have an app called Pronto that we use. So that is really useful. If you're, say, stuck on something, you can message in that and then your peers can help you, or the tutors or the faculty can jump in and help as well. So it's a really nice collaborative experience. And as we mentioned already, we've got real life case studies that allows you to actually use real life scenarios that you can help implement into your life straight away. And then I think the thing that sets us apart is our live sessions. So in orientation week, you've got a 1-hour call, and that's just to kind of get you set up, show you how to use the platform, get to know your cohort. We've got 2 tutorials, which are run by the tutors. So they're spread out during the course. So they are not pre-recorded, they are recorded. So if they are at a time zone that doesn't suit you, you can then watch them later on. If you obviously can't make it, you can then feed in questions ahead of it so they can answer them while they're on the call. And then we also have one faculty event, which is run by our academic director, Matthias. So we get a lot of touch points with the Oxford faculty, the tutors, each other. So it's a really interactive experience. So you're not just left on your own and hoping for the best. We really want everyone to succeed. And honestly, I think it makes a world of difference having all that support there. So what I'm going to show you next is Canvas. So this is our learning system. Hopefully we can see this. So this is what the course looks like itself. So giving you a little sneak preview to some of the content in there. So I'm just in module 1, unit 3. It's nice and interactive. We've got some text. We've got a video you can watch.
principals is this?
So this is with our Global Responsible AI Officer from BP. So it's not just the faculty delivering a lecture, it is the different insights you've got from industry and academia. If you didn't want to watch the video, for example, you can read the transcript instead. And then we've also got summaries of that video, any optional reading if you wanted to read further about what they discussed in the video. And then on here, we've got another video. So this is with a different AI specialist. Same again, transcript takeaways. And then here we've got a knowledge check. Obviously, I have no idea because I've not watched the video, but let's just say they're talking about that. And they tell you you've got the wrong answer, and tells you why, and then you can retake it. No. And to get the right answer essentially, but it tells you each time you get it wrong. So you can learn from it and kind of test your knowledge. If you need to go back and rewatch it, you can do. And then in this one, we have a Mentimeter poll. So what value should your organization prioritize when developing AI ethics? So this is where you guys on the course, you'll be able to put in your responses and you'll be able to see what the rest of the cohort are thinking, so you can kind of share and reflect. And then from this, we really encourage everyone to have that discussion in the Pronto app based on this. So as I said, it's a really nice way to learn because it's different content. Everyone consumes our content differently. So however your learning style, we've got a method that will suit you. And again, still in lesson 1, still got a bit more. It's just a very nice interactive program. Get back to my slide deck. And then once you have finished your program, you become part of our alumni community. So the pictures on the right-hand side are from our alumni event. So once a year, we invite all the alumni to come to Oxford. So we have a weekend of activities where you get to meet your tutors. So the middle group, the lady in green, is the tutor for their program. So they've all come together from different corners of the world to meet each other in person, meet the tutors, hear from our faculty, and then we have a dinner at one of our colleges. So it's a really nice weekend where you get to actually meet in real life. But apart from that amazing kind of keynote events, the Oxford Side Alumni Network is actually a platform. So think of it like a social network, kind of like a Facebook, where you've all got your own feeds that's built up of events, of thought leadership, of research, news, discussion boards. So you can keep talking after your program finishes. So each cohort is given their own area of the platform, so you can chat together. And then you'll also have areas where you can chat to other people. So that could be from the same program, different cohorts, or similar programs, or similar locations. And then we also have a variety of other events that we arrange. So we have lots of webinars that they host in the platform. They have in-person events in the chapters. So for example, the New York chapter quite often organises something. So if you're in that area, you can go and join them and meet anyone that has done a course with us. So it's a really nice community. And you just keep that learning going because you're all still learning from each other, still talking to people. I did my course 3 years ago and I'm still talking to people in the platform that I did my course with. So it's just a really lovely thing to be a part of. And then back over to Alex for our kind of last slide before we go to some Q&As.
Thank you, Bex. So yes, as well as off-the-shelf offerings and existing platforms that we offer, we're quite big on understanding that every organization does have its own bespoke needs, its own development needs within upskilling teams, aligned learning and strategic goals. So as well as our existing programs, we do offer a bespoke element to that. So it might be, for example, that you go on this course on the 30th of August or April, even when it's running, on the 30th of April, and you find that you like certain elements but not others, and you wanted to have a conversation about running another version of it, but with targeted aspects towards the needs of your organization. So whether it's a block booking for multiple employees on an existing program, or something fully bespoke, we can tailor towards your needs, essentially, is the point of that. So we're very flexible there.
Yes, so what I'll do is I'll stop sharing my screen there. And I'll say it's over to you guys for the Q&As. I can see we've had some come through in the chat already. So we can start answering some. And I say, please do continue putting them in the chat or in the Q&A box, and we will obviously work our way through them now. I say, I'm happy to take that first one, Alex. Does it make sense for me to enroll if I'm living in Canada? Absolutely, because as we said, the course has a global applicability, so it's not just, obviously it focuses on the EU AI Act, but it does put in that global perspective, so it is definitely worth doing.
And then similar to your second question, Karen, around do you only cover EU or will you discuss other efforts in other countries? So we focus on EU to some extent, but we do cover other regulations, other laws with a global focus as well. So it's not just EU as we say. So it's kind of all compliance as it stands around AI and ethics. So it's a broader focus than just EU.
Yes. And so I will take the live session question. So yes, as I did mention, the live sessions are set at one time, but we do then record them. So if they're not in your time zone, then you can watch them later. And we do ask when you're in the program, if it is going to be, say, a Q&A style live session, that we do let people submit their questions ahead of time, especially if you're not going to be able to join, then at least you know your questions can get answered on the call, and then you can watch them later, whenever works for you.
And do we have a date yet, Bex, for the next annual alumni event, or is it do we have anything in the diary for that?
We don't have a date yet. They are normally in October, or I know they are planning for one next summer as well. So TBC on the date, but they will, once you're part of the alumni community, and as long as you consent to marketing, you become into our newsletter for the alumni. So you get a monthly newsletter, and that is where they will announce the alumni events as well as on the platform itself.
Is there an alumni chapter in Canada? Well, sort of as covered, really. We'll be in touch with the next event. It's not bespoke to any one area.
And I said, across the whole Oxford portfolio, we have had participants from every single country, nation, nationality in the world. So there is people in every country you can connect to, and that's what the platform is really good at doing, is you can, when you log in, you can kind of see who's in my area, who's close to me. So it's a really good way for you to connect with other people.
And then, so another one, do you have a promotion or discount code? Yes, we do. We'll come on to that at the end, Karen, if that's okay. It's a discount that we'll put up on the screen just as we're finishing. Another one here, do we cover any ethical frameworks such as Bruce Weinstein? I'm not sure about that one specifically, but obviously ethics is heavily covered and frameworks are discussed very much in the first module. So it's likely that comes up. Apologies, I don't know exactly whether we cover that specific framework, but ethical frameworks are covered, yes. And then does it come with a certificate? Yes, it's CPD verified. So certified. So at the end, you will have an Oxford certificate with a pass against it, hopefully, if you're successful over the 4-week program.
Yeah, and I would say if I was at home, not in the office, I would show you my certificate, as I do have it on the wall behind me at home. And I know it's something that everyone loves to share. So it's not just kind of like the standard A4 certificate, you also get a blockchain certificate that you can then add directly to your LinkedIn. So it's verified. So anyone that clicks on it will then be taken into it and you'll be like, oh, that is official. They have done the course. So it's not someone pretending they've done it, if that makes sense. So it is lots of ways to verify you. And I'll say onto the certificates on the ESG, would you be able to tell me whether we can have a chance to get a hard copy of this certificate in future? If you get in contact with the alumni team, they will be able to help you get a hard copy of the certificate. I will find their email and I will type the answer to that one. But I know a lot of the time we do digital certificates, which is not ideal. But if you do request, they should be able to help you get an actual physical one posted to you.
There's one from Susan. Will you consider South Korean AI regs that come into force next year? Yes, is the short answer. So there's a forward focus as well, and the content on these courses are actually updated fairly periodically following the outcome of each one. So based on feedback, but also in the case of AI, where it's a very fast-moving environment based on real current events as well. So yes, Susan, we will consider AI regs from South Korea.
Yes, and she also mentioned US revoking exec order on safe, secure, and trustworthy AI. Exactly the same. After every cohort, we do have a light touch refresh, and then once or twice a year, we do kind of what we call a heavy refresh, where we look at what is coming up, what has happened, and we use that as well as the faculty's research if they've done anything new since the last cohort, and we all put that into the next iteration of the program. So it is always up to date, always current. So you get the best learning you can.
Another one in here regarding when are the next dates running. So let me just dig that out, because I believe we've got one on the 30th of April, as we've discussed. After that, we're looking at the 25th of June, 2025, of course, later this year. And then we'll be looking to we'll probably run at least another 3 in the autumn of this year, as we get past the summer. So they are fairly frequent, helped by the fact that they are 4 weeks long. Yeah, and we still actually have space on the 30th of April if you're interested in joining the next one. How many times has the course been offered? This will be the second cohort that we run. We did run one earlier this year. As I sort of touched on in the presentation, very mixed cohort in terms of breakdown of roles, gender, and so on. So it's there's a lot of, perhaps more than many courses we find, there's a lot of diversity of thought on these courses.
I'll say to kind of answer both of your questions. Last cohort we had 120 people on. This one, how many have we got registered? So
You're probably looking at 80 to 90, I'd say, for this one. A little bit less, which isn't a bad thing. So I think it's slightly smaller cohort, probably 80 to 90 if I had to guess where we'd land.
I'm not sure how many people per tutor. We can go away and double check on that answer. But I know it's not too many, if that makes sense. I know when I was doing mine, the tutor was so responsive, and we were in our little group, so we had our own little tutor group and we had a discussion forum just for us. And there would have been 10 or less. But this was obviously 3 years ago on a completely different course. So it is a small group, so you each get that individual attention you need to really help you get through everything. I saw something go in the chat. So I was looking in the chat. Is there strategies to develop ethical use of AI that is used for academics?
Well, I mean, the ethics side is as heavily covered as the regulation side. So my answer to that would be yes. Strategies, frameworks, processes that exist will all be covered with from an ethics perspective, as well as it's largely compliance focused as you'd expect, compliance and regulation, but ethics is obviously covered, and the compliance tool does cover that when rating the various risk levels of each piece of inventory within your organization. Covered off the start dates and the AI regs in Korea. So I think, unless something else comes up in the chat. Oh, yeah.
Chat about how we are rated, ranked against other courses. What I can tell you about our Net Promoter Score. So we generally have a good Net Promoter Score, if anyone knows much about that. So this is a metric used to gauge customer loyalty to an organization, product, or service. And it is based on the likelihood of customers recommending the company to others. So the NPS score ranges from -100, so all negative, to +100. So a positive score is anything above 0, and then anything of 50 is considered excellent. And I'll say our first cohort had an NPS of 45. So we are very close to that excellent mark. And we had 65 of the previous cohort respond to that. So from that, we had no one saying any negative things, and it was all passive and promoters. So people that were generally okay and very happy with the course, if that makes sense. So lots and lots of positive feedback.
And as we sort of touched on, this particular course does offer that full range of experience instead of just theoretical aspects or ethical aspects. It covers compliance, ethics, and regulation all in one, which isn't actually covered by competitors at the moment. Karen, sorry for all the questions. No worries. It was why we're here, so no worries at all. Yes, so we do sometimes get this. When we say 7 to 10 hours per week, that's probably a conservative estimate. You might it's obviously based on the individual and individual cases, but you might find it creeps up to 15 to 20 at a push. But I wouldn't say more than that really. It depends on the individual, as I say. But I'd be surprised if it was 50 hours, as you say in your question there. I think that's but who knows? It's individual learning. If you do find that you're struggling at any point or need support, we have an army of customer support specialists there to help with that. If you find that you're not quite taking in the content or you're struggling with a particular piece of work, we can provide support with that as we go. Do we give extensions? Yes, we do consider extensions. So if you're struggling at any point, by the time we get to the written assessment at the end, we will consider that, of course.
Yeah. And I say back to when I did mine. So I did get extensions because obviously I'm staff here as well. They got my access confused and then it got me locked out. So I had to have an extension for pretty much every single module because their portal just kept messing up, and eventually we had to swap my email addresses and it was all sorted. So they did give me an extension on all my assignments. And then we also went on holiday in the middle of it. Mine was an 8-week course. So I ended up taking my laptop and working on holiday, which was a novelty. So again, a kind of a good way to show that it does fit around your life. I mean, appreciate not everyone wants to take their laptop on holiday. But for me, I went on holiday in October. So by the time it got to the evening, it was quite cold, and the husband was quite happy to sit and watch football at the bar while I was sat on my laptop doing my assignments. And I think in terms of like why we give the variety of hours is if you do all the additional reading, that's where you can kind of see the hours totaling up. But if you do kind of, I don't want to say the bare minimum, but just what is literally in Canvas itself, that's kind of where you get to the lower end. And then obviously how long you spend on the assignments is another factor on how long you can take. So if you really wanted to immerse yourself in the course, you could spend a long time doing it. It's kind of what you want to do and what works around your lifestyle. I say, do we have any last questions? Otherwise, I'm going to go back to my screen. Oh, I've seen so. And the bit we've all been waiting for. So as we did mention, there is going to be an exclusive 10% off. So if you use the code AIE10 at the checkout, you'll be able to get your 10% off. So terms and conditions are noted at the bottom. So please note that code is valid from today until next Friday, the 25th of April. And it expires at 11:59 UTC, and is valid for the next cohort only. So the one that starts on the 30th of April. And so if you did want to enroll now, if you scan the QR code, that will take you to the enroll page of the program. Otherwise, you can, if you're not sure on enrolling yet, you can obviously still scan and keep that page ready for you. And I say if you do have any other questions in the meantime, Alex is here ready to talk to you guys. If you email the online exechead@sbs.ox.ac.uk, then he'll be able to answer any further questions you have. And I'll say, as I'm sharing my screen, I can't see the chat box. I'm not sure if anyone else is saying anything.
Just a little thank you from Karen. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, and also, as we said at the start, this webinar is recorded. So in the next week or so, you will get the recording. And then we will follow up with an email with the discount code in case you didn't write it down or anything.
Brilliant. Well, we'll say goodbye then. If there are no further questions, thank you so much for your time and for your questions and your input today. It's really great to see you all come in, and we hope to see you. We hope to see you at the end of the month, or indeed in some of the later cohorts that we run. But as we say, any further questions, my email's on the screen, and we'll pull up stamps there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.